Christian.
Yeah, Terrell and Diane, good morning. We're also learning today that those three people who were injured in this shooting took themselves to the hospital, actually. We don't know which hospital just yet, but their injuries are non-life-threatening at this hour. Right now, we're at the intersection of Ohio Street and Orleans, and as you guys have been saying, traffic is flowing once again this morning. Still so many questions about what happened here. ISP is saying it all occurred around 2:30. It's still unclear what led to the gunfire, who the shooter is, and how many shots were fired in the first place. But lanes in both directions on the Ohio Street feeder ramp from the Kennedy were closed for hours as troopers investigated the shooting, but had those lanes, of course, have since reopened. Illinois State Police says this investigation is still in its infancy stages, and of course, as we learn more information about what happened here, we'll be sure to bring you new updates. Back to you.
Christian, thank you. And new this morning, a Hammond, Indiana man is now charged with a disturbing case of animal abuse in Lincoln Park. Police say 28-year-old Jose Orlando Cartagena was arrested yesterday after he was identified as the suspect. Surveillance video from September 22nd shows a man getting out of a van, opening a trunk, and pulling the puppy out. We've frozen the video because it's too disturbing to show. It shows the man throwing the dog, punching it in the face. Cartagena is charged with cruelty to animals.
Today, of course, is Columbus Day. A big crowd is expected downtown this afternoon for the city's parade.
Other events are also planned to recognize Indigenous Peoples Day. Our Jessica D'Onofrio is live from the Loop with more. Jessica?
Diane and Terrell, the Columbus Day Parade is very rich in tradition here in Chicago. This year's parade theme is Generations of Pride, honoring Italian Americans in the community. Now, the Joint Civic Committee of Italian Americans, which serves the Chicagoland area, will welcome all to this year's Columbus Day Parade. The day will begin with a mass at the Shrine of Our Lady of Pompeii and then a wreath-laying ceremony in Arrigo Park. Many attendees will then make their way to the Columbus Day Parade that will kick off in the Loop at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Meanwhile, many are also celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day. A two-day festival got underway in Chicago yesterday at the Logan Square Auditorium, showcasing Indigenous artists. Today's performances will move to the Old Town School of Folk Music. Organizers say Chicago is home to 75,000 tribal members. Now, Columbus Day has become a controversial holiday over the years as people push to remove statues of Christopher Columbus and rename the holiday. Indigenous Peoples Day arose as an alternative to Columbus Day. Native Americans have protested, saying Columbus represents the violent history of colonization in the Western Hemisphere. And this year's Columbus Day Parade is dedicated to the memory of Angelo and Romana Caputo. Angelo Caputo was the founder of the grocery store chain in the Chicagoland area bearing his last name. Diane and Terrell, back to you.
Jessica, thank you. And a reminder, you can see the Chicago Columbus Day Parade right here on ABC7 Live at 1 p.m. Val Warner and Ryan Cheverini will host our coverage.
Want to get to breaking developments in the war in Ukraine this morning? Russia's military launched a barrage of missiles at several cities across Ukraine, including the capital, Kyiv.
Several civilians were killed in what may be retaliation for the blast that damaged the critical bridge connecting Russia to Crimea. ABC's Jay O'Brien is live in Washington with the very latest. Jay?
Yeah, Terrell and Diane, good morning. We are hearing reports that some of these missiles struck directly in the heart of Kyiv, Ukraine's capital. By last count, 8 are dead, 24 injured, although those numbers are expected to rise. Also breaking this morning, Russian President Vladimir Putin saying that he personally ordered these missile strikes in retaliation for the destruction of a part of that bridge connecting Russia to Crimea over the weekend. It comes as there are concerns now that this conflict in Ukraine could intensify, and as Russian state media is reporting that Putin and top officials in his government will meet later today.
Overnight, large explosions heard in the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirming the explosions are from Russian missile attacks in multiple cities, saying Russia is trying to, quote, wipe us off the face of the earth. It comes as the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia is still reeling from a Russian missile strike Sunday that killed at least 17 civilians. Rescuers pulling survivors out of the rubble. Ukraine's president calling the attack absolute evil. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin is now labeling the massive explosion Saturday at a crucial Russian bridge a terrorist attack. Before and after satellite images showing the damage to this vital supply line for Moscow's military, connecting Russia to the Crimean Peninsula, which Putin illegally annexed in 2014. Ukraine has not directly claimed responsibility, as Ukrainian forces continue making tactical gains in occupied regions in the country's south and east. President Biden's stirring warning, saying Putin is not joking when making nuclear threats, now hangs over the conflict. Biden adding, "We have not faced the prospect of Armageddon since Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis." The White House saying there is no new intelligence that Putin is planning an imminent use of nuclear weapons, and defending the president's comments.
What the president was reflecting was that the stakes are high right now, given what's going on the battlefield in Ukraine, and given the very irresponsible and reckless comments made by Vladimir Putin in just the last few days.
Putin has also appointed a new general, Sergei Surovikin, to oversee some military operations in Ukraine. He is perhaps best known for what was called truly ruthless tactics, overseeing bombing operations in Syria. Terrell and Diane, back to you.
Jay O'Brien in Washington this morning. Jay, appreciate it. Thanks. Jury selection for Harvey Weinstein's trial starts today in Los Angeles. The former movie mogul allegedly assaulted several women during the week of the Oscar Awards in 2013. 5 women will appear in court as Jane Does to tell their stories. He has pleaded not guilty. Weinstein is already serving a 23-year sentence for rape and sexual assault in New York. This trial is expected to last 8 weeks.
Switching gears back here at home, it was a picture-perfect day for yesterday's running of the 44th Chicago Marathon. So perfect, in fact, history was made. Tens of thousands of runners from all around the world took to the streets, traveling through 29 Chicago neighborhoods. Now, one of these runners, Milwaukee native Emily Sisson, set the American record for a woman in a marathon. Her second-place time of 2:18:29 demolished the old record by 43 seconds.
It was a really good day, amazing weather, incredible crowds. You couldn't ask for much more. And I had a really good build-up, so I was like, you don't get this many opportunities to run a fast course on a good day. So to run 2:18 and 29 and finish second, I'm just ecstatic about it.
For more perspective on Sisson's accomplishment, no American woman has ever run a marathon in under 2 hours and 19 minutes.
I want to get you an update on the marathon racer in a wheelchair that we introduced you to on Friday. Michael Panther finished Sunday's race in just under 3 hours. He tells us his first-time marathon was rough, but he pushed through and made it to the finish line. He raised more than $2,000 for people living with disabilities in Africa. Oh. That is awesome.
Congratulations.
And that is new this hour, and really good to see that, too. Nice talking to him last week. Bears fans are feeling mixed emotions this morning. Had that loss yesterday to the Minnesota Vikings. It was all Minnesota for the first half. At one point, the Vikings were up 21-3, and it looked like it was going to be a really long, bad day for Chicago. But they came back, scored 19 unanswered points, even took the lead. This was the great part. Minnesota, though, comes back, gets the late touchdown. The Bears turn it over on their final drive, and they lose again. This one, 29-22. All right, got some Adele right there. And if you come with Adele, you got to get Adele right. A new citywide karaoke competition kicked off last night. It's called Chicago Sings Karaoke. The month-long competition is organized by the city to celebrate Chicago's karaoke culture. Pretty good. Competitors hit the stage at Simone's Bar and Grill in Pilsen. This was Sunday evening. Multiple bars all across the city are hosting events through October 18th for the first round of qualifying. The finals are November 6th at the West Park. The winner will take home $5,000 and the title, Chicago's Karaoke Champion. And our website has more information if you're interested.
$5,000, that's not bad.
That is fantastic, actually.
Really, really.
That's really
if
good.
you've got any kind of voice, get out there and do it. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Live and local news just getting started, streaming out loud this morning. When we come back, the push to help the overlooked find a job. It's a situation and a story that's making Chicago proud.
But first, Tracy's got your AccuWeather forecast. She's talking about warmer weather to start the week. It may not stay that way, though. She's coming up.
Yeah.
Well, good morning to you. Do want to make a quick mention for those of you up in McHenry County, even across northern King County around Elgin, Algonquin, into Marengo, noticing some fog up that direction. Well, as we look at our notes for this week, today, tomorrow, Wednesday, temperatures are going to come in above average. It does turn colder Thursday and Friday. Rain chances increase here tomorrow evening into the day on Wednesday. And so far the weekend, it looks dry, but it looks rather chilly too. Here are those rain chances through the week. Pretty minimal once you get past Wednesday, but tomorrow and Wednesday, yeah, we're looking at periods of rain, especially during the day here on Wednesday. You see that represented in the futurecast. Here's Wednesday morning. Also, these wind speeds are going to be cranking. So if you have Halloween decorations out there, you may want to get those things secured before tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow looks windy, too. How are things looking on the roads, Jeremy Scott?
Well, Tracy, for the most part, they're actually looking really good out there, but a couple of hot spots we're watching. One of those, as you see, that's the outbound Kennedy 190 extension headed towards the airport. Pretty heavy throughout the terminals. As we take a look at the overall map through that stretch, we've been seeing delays up to about 20 miles an hour as you're coming from the Kennedy onto the terminals at O'Hare. So give yourself a little bit of extra time if that's your route of choice. Other than that, we mentioned the Columbus Day Parade, and closures for that later on this morning will include Upper Wacker from Wabash to Franklin, State Street from Kinsey all the way over to Van Buren, and Van Buren from State to Congress Plaza. Again, the parade's going to be on ABC7 later today at 1 in the afternoon. But other than that, for the most part, looking pretty good. Let's head over to Chopper 7 HD real quick, though, where we are seeing that fog that Tracy's been mentioning. And mainly you're going to see it along and north of the I-190 corridor. This is in Schaumburg, Hanover Park. As you can see, it is very thick. So if you have to head out and about in that area, do give yourself a little bit of extra time. Don't turn on those high beams as they'll come right back at you, but you're going to see this thick fog in pockets. Terrell and Diane.
Jeremy, thank you. Gosh, we didn't even know it wasn't that thick
I mean,
out there.
Tracy mentioned it, but I mean,
here it's like nothing.
Nothing, and yeah, it's really great to have this perspective from Chopper. You can really see it.
Yeah, land safely, Chopper. That's a low ceiling. A Chicago-based company is helping the overlooked get hired.
Yeah, ABC7's Sarah Schulte explains, and it's making Chicago proud.
After 13 years working for an insurance collections company, Imelda Mason was laid off last April. The 60-year-old had no plans for early retirement, so she sought a new job. But much has changed since the last time Mason found employment.
It's all online, so I didn't know where to start. That's probably why I only signed up with one place to search.
The search site connected her with a Chicago-based software company called RiseKit.
We use the word overlooked. Often our job seekers might have a barrier to employment or just don't have access to even more jobs. Their resumes might not be accepted in the applicant tracking systems.
RiseKit founder Matt Strauss says his software connects overlooked job seekers, primarily from the city's south and west sides, with nonprofits and employers.
Our main employer partners are hospitality, warehouse, industrial, manufacturing, customer service, call centers, and some IT help desk jobs.
Helping with the process are dozens of nonprofits who provide caseworkers to help job seekers, including the Chicago Urban League.
What the Urban League adds is the human factor. We look at their background, we look at their resume, we suggest certain tweaks, we make the handoff to recruiters at these companies.
Job seekers can either go through a nonprofit or directly to the RiseKit website where one of the company's recruiters helps. That is the path Mason took.
She was such a big help because she did pretty much, I would say, the legwork. Because she said, oh, I have a company I think you'd be a great fit for.
Mason starts a new collections job on October 10th.
It's just a new chapter for me. I'm happy.
Mason's goal is to keep working until she can't. Sarah Schulte, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Sarah, appreciate it. Thanks. Still streaming this morning, the incredible new tool that is helping Chicago learn more about our universe and why it could soon cost you more to send things through the mail.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
You might see higher prices at the post office soon. The U.S. Postal Service is proposing price hikes to offset inflation. First-class stamps would cost 3 cents more, and mailing a postcard would increase by 4 cents. The agency is also looking to increase fees for P.O. box rentals, money orders, and insurance. If approved, the changes can take effect in January.
The University of Chicago is playing a key role in researching the start of the universe. It's a huge telescope reflector that's now on campus for testing. It's 40 tons of aluminum and needed an escort because it's so big. It's part of a new South Pole telescope mapping the afterglow from the Big Bang.
Wow.
Wow.
That's really neat. You can get a behind-the-scenes look at more than 100 architectural wonders in Chicago for free. Open House Chicago returns this weekend. You can check out more than 150 architectural wonders in 20 communities in the city and suburbs. The annual festival is run by the Chicago Architectural Center.
Chicago is the city of architecture, and Open House Chicago is our opportunity at the Chicago Architecture Center to open up the city's architectural gems throughout the city to the population and to Chicagoans everywhere.
After the festival, visitors can continue exploring all month long with self-guided tours and a suite of virtual programs.
It's one of my favorite things to do, and there are so many places that I still want to see.
Right?
This is an awesome city for architecture. I love it, love it, love it. All right, so going to link up with everybody that's watching Good Morning America right now.
That's right. We're going to have a news update on television shortly, so stay tuned for that. And when we come back after that, why Mr. T visited a Chicago church this weekend.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It's 7:23. I'm Diane Pathieu. Traffic moving once again on the Ohio feeder ramp off the Kennedy Expressway after a shooting that left 3 people hurt. According to Illinois State Police, it happened at around 2:30 this morning. ISP closed the ramp for hours while they investigated. Chicago Fire says they took 3 victims, and those 3 victims actually took themselves to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So far, details of the shooting have not yet been released. Speaking of traffic, let's get a look at traffic this morning with Jeremy Scott, who's in for Roz.
Well, Diane, we're looking at the Rosemont camera, taking a look at the outbound 190 headed towards O'Hare. As you can see, it is pretty heavy for a Monday morning, but really looking at the rest of your roads, they're actually not looking too bad for the most part, as we are seeing hardly any delays elsewhere. But yeah, take a look at how slow you're going on outbound 190, about 20 miles an hour headed towards the terminals. But really, the rest of the roads for a Monday looking pretty good because of the Columbus Day holiday. You are still seeing some delays on the Eisenhower and the Stevenson. 80-94 eastbound also tight approaching the construction zone. Tracy has your fantastic Columbus Day forecast next.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate Aurora Health.
Good morning to you. Want to take a look at the visibilities because they were pretty terrible up across McHenry County, northern Kane County. They are improving slowly. Right now, as we look at the skies, they are mainly clear. Across Chicago, we're seeing sunshine. It is cold in Aurora, 37 there, 39 Rensselaer, 41 in Gary, and 47 degrees officially out at O'Hare. High temperatures for us here today, closing in on 70 degrees. It will be cooler at the lake by about maybe as much as 7 to 10 degrees. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, increasing wind speeds, and rain chances will increase tomorrow evening too.
All right, taking another look outside this morning. Got some sunshine, lots of it, and lots of it coming today. Warming up out at O'Hare this morning. Really nice day coming up, too. Tracy will have more on that. She just talked about the forecast, but we'll get some more from her in just a little bit. All right, Mr. T, guest speaker at Cosmopolitan Community Church in Chicago yesterday. The actor is a Chicago native, recently branched out into public speaking since his cancer-related health scare.
Being chosen to preach at my own church, this means so much to me. This is my calling. This is very serious and very important to me.
All right, Mr. T said he hopes to promote, raise awareness, and expand appreciation for what he calls the power and promise of Christianity. Mr. T is best known for his roles in the TV series A-Team and the movie Rocky III.
He looks incredible.
Yeah? I don't
Yes.
know what, gosh, how many years young is Mr. T these
You know what?
days?
Let's look
That's
it up.
actually a really good
All right,
question.
hold on, I'm on it.
Mr.
Because
T,
I mean, especially with the
70.
You got it?
Yeah.
70.
70.
Especially
Wow, yeah, he
with,
does look good.
A cancer scare, and your body goes through so much stuff.
That's
when you're,
right.
he just looks so good.
Still
I'm just so
sounds
happy
good.
he's still with us and strong.
Yeah, and he
Wants to
sounded
try
good
to-
up there
Yeah.
and saying all the right things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We love you, Mr. T.
We love you, and God bless you, my man.
Coming up this morning, an Evanston native takes the reins of the city's police department today.
Plus, the pumpkin spice trend is very lucrative. Find out how much money Americans spend on pumpkin products.
Hi!
That'll make you say, oh my gourd.
You're watching ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7. Streaming live now.
Let's take a quick look at some of the stories we're watching for you today. The Evanston City Council will swear in the city's new police chief. Shanita Stewart grew up in Evanston and graduated from Evanston Township High School. Stewart previously served as deputy chief of police for the East Dundee Police Department.
New testimony is expected today in the trial for the man charged in the Waukesha parade tragedy. Daryl Brooks is accused of plowing into the Christmas parade last year. He killed 6 people and injured dozens of others.
Academy Award-winning film director Martin Scorsese will be in town today. Scorsese is scheduled to speak at the Economic Club of Chicago about movie making, his films, and more. Scorsese also oversees a nonprofit called the Film Foundation, which restores old films. The event takes place tonight at the Hilton Chicago. Good morning and welcome back. I'm Diane Patthew in for Val.
And I'm Terrell Brown over here on the couch, bottom of the hour. Let's go outside, see what we're talking about this morning, how things are shaping up with the weather. 47 degrees, Tracy out at O'Hare, a little cool now, but a beautiful day coming up today.
Yeah, we do have a really nice day in store for us here today. Right now, 47 degrees out at O'Hare. It's 37, though, in Aurora, so definitely a chill out there, even DeKalb at 40. I've been watching some fog concerns up across McHenry County, northern Kane County, even northern DeKalb, but those seem to be improving. 46 right now, Valparaiso, and 40 in Kankakee. Overall, good-looking day ahead of us here today. Lots of sunshine, highs near 70. A little bit of a lake breeze, though, will keep things cooler areas along the lake front. As for tomorrow, anticipating highs back into the 70s. More clouds tomorrow. It is going to get rather windy around here tomorrow, too, and some rain chances do develop here tomorrow evening. I'll pause here with weather news. What about traffic news, Jeremy Scott?
Well, Tracy, we are watching a couple of issues on Metra. The inbound UP West train due downtown at 8 is about 25 minutes behind scheduled freight train interference, but as we reach into fall, we start to see these delays as well. Outbound UP Northwest train due into Harvard at 7:20 should be arriving here any minute at the station, and that was delayed because of wheel slippage due to leaves on the tracks. Elsewhere, looking better than what we normally see. We are still seeing some delays. That delay outbound Kennedy headed towards the airport. It's getting better. 8094, that's still sluggish as you approach the construction in Northwest Indiana, but I do want to head to Grant Park as you see Balboa is closed from Columbus to DeSaba Lakeshore Drive for Chicago Marathon cleanup. Terrell and Diane.
All righty. Got it, Jeremy. Thank you so much. Let's talk about what you guys are talking about. Today's talkers now, and Ye, better known as Kanye West, is now locked out of his Twitter account for an anti-Semitic post. So the tweet over the weekend said that the rapper was going to, quote, go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Twitter said the comment violates its hate speech policies. Instagram restricted Ye's account last Friday for infractions. The same day, Saturday Night Live used its whole open to skew Kanye West's behavior the previous week. Twitter also removed one of his tweets. He said he would, quote, again, go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Instagram also restricted his account for alleged rules violations, but they didn't go into specifics. Okay. Who cares? I guess that's my thing. He's always going to be fuel to a fire.
Yeah.
He's always looking for something controversial to say or two. You know, the whole White Lives Matter
I do know.
T-shirt thing. You know, and this is just another thing. I will say, though, within the last week and a half, he has been on a roll lately with one thing after another. It was like something that he posted the other day on Instagram that got people all fired up.
Yeah.
So it's just, I feel like if we give it the attention, then he keeps going.
Yeah.
And he keeps doing it. And it's working.
You know, a lot of people say, like, oh, he's a genius. And he is, in that he's a genius content creator.
Right.
Because that content is making headlines. And what better way to stay relevant than to continuously make headlines? Doesn't matter what he's actually saying. It matters that he's the top headline of these entertainment shows.
And he knows that.
He knows that.
So
and it is genius.
Yes, and
in a weird way, it is genius.
We keep eating it up because here we are on Holiday Monday morning talking.
Well, this is not our top story. It's like our talkers, right? But other shows, it is like their top story.
Yeah, and look, it gets people all gassed up too.
It really does.
I've seen some people on Twitter and on social media who are just fired up about this, and I want to get my say out there.
He loves to fire you up.
Yep, and he doesn't. And I think he loves to fire you up and also doesn't care that you're mad about it.
Exactly. And he, in fact, has said that.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Say what I
as long as you spell my name right, I don't care.
There you go. Right? This is also getting to be, speaking of hot and fired up, this is another thing that's got
gosh,
some people
I have a lot to say about this. Okay.
Red hot lawsuit. Texas Pete Hot Sauce is facing a class action lawsuit from one man in California because it's not made in Texas.
Correct.
Yeah. Philip White said it is false advertising. Mm-hmm.
Right? And then he said that he would have never bought it if he knew it wasn't from Texas. Texas Pete's parent company, TW Garner Foods, is based in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. According to the reports, the man alleges the parent company deceived him when he bought a $3 bottle of Texas Pete hot sauce. The suit details the look of the logo. It includes the quote, "he famed white Lone Star from the Texan flag together with a lassoing cowboy." So here is my reaction because I have a lot to say.
Okay.
First of all, this man is from California. There's my problem number one.
Yeah.
Problem number two, if you turn the bottle from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Says it on the bottle.
On the bottle.
Yeah. And you still bought it.
Right. You didn't read the label. Now you're going to make all those taxpayers go to court for $3.
Yes. Right? Do better. No, You
are the epitome
of what's
wrong with this country.
Oh my gosh.
Read the bottle.
It's all right there. And by the way, how many,
read the bottle.
If I want hot sauce, Tabasco, Red Hot, will you put that on everything?
Yes.
I don't care
where it comes
where
from.
it was made.
No.
I really don't. Now, I do understand in some situations, like, I don't know, if we came up with something like Chicago-style barbecue.
Right.
And somebody was making it in New Orleans.
Right, okay.
And then selling it from then I kind of understand.
Why?
And it's not that it's a problem.
Okay.
Right? But if there's a particular, like if Chicago has its own style of barbecue.
Right.
And you are, you know what, you make a good point. If you're taking and making that same style from New Orleans, what's the big deal?
There are pizza companies in other cities and states, I hate to break it to you, whatever your name is, that are making Chicago-style pizza that are not in Chicago.
Yeah. It's very true.
I promise you I'm not taking it in the court.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good point.
Read the bottle. I'm not even trying to have 1 ounce of sympathy for you.
No. I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt before this conversation, but you make such a convincing argument, Diane.
You know what I mean? Because this day and age, look, when we go to the grocery store this day and age, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of us are starting to read and understand labels better.
Yeah.
We are. We're starting to look at what's going into our bodies. So we look at the labels, we turn the bottles around. So somebody's naming something using the word Texas doesn't mean they're promising you it's from Texas. They're just using the name.
Correct.
If anybody should be upset, it should be the state of Texas. But guess what? They're not suing Texas Pete's.
And I guarantee you the jeans that you have on were probably made in China. And
are you upset at that?
Exactly.
Because you know what? You should be.
That's going to do it. Hey, look, we're streaming out loud this morning. Back in 90 seconds. Hang on for just a sec.
Good morning to you. Well, I wanted to talk about rain chances for this week. Not today. We don't have rain in the forecast today, but tomorrow evening our rain chances are going to increase. And I do think there will be periods of rain here on Wednesday. The other thing of note here, tomorrow as well as on Wednesday, going to be the wind. Out ahead of an approaching cold front, these winds are really going to be picking up. And it's even possible as that cold front starts to jet through here on Wednesday afternoon, could get a couple rumbles of thunder into the area. Skies right now are clear to partly cloudy. At O'Hare, we're at 47 degrees, and it is mainly sunny with a gentle breeze. It is 46 right now, Valparaiso, 44 in Kankakee, 49 in Waukegan. We've had some pretty foggy conditions in some of the north and northwest suburbs this morning. It sounds like those visibilities are beginning to improve. Let's check in with Jeremy on traffic.
Well, Tracy, we've been watching this delay on the 190 headed towards O'Hare. It's getting better, but as you see the ramp from the eastbound Jane Addams and the southbound Tri-State, they are starting to stack up as you're approaching the 190. A couple of closures we're watching. One of those is Amstutz Expressway closed from Greenwood to Genesee for filming. That's going to be until the middle of the week. You're also seeing closures start to be in place for the Columbus Day Parade. Upper Wacker, they are starting to close that. Wabash to Franklin, right now, one lane is closed on the westbound side. State is going to be closed from Kinsey to Van Buren, and Van Buren from State to Congress Plaza. If you're not going to make it to the parade, you can watch it on ABC7 starting at 1 this afternoon. Other than that, really looking pretty good out there with minimal delays in what we normally see on a Monday morning. Terrell and Diane.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you so much. You mentioned it's Columbus Day. A big crowd will be downtown for this afternoon's parade, and this year's theme is Generations of Pride. Ron Onesti, President, Joint Civic Committee of Italian Americans, Robertino Presta from Caputo's Fresh Markets, and the honorary chairman of the Columbus Day Parade, and Rosella Presta, Robertino's daughter, are all with us this morning. Guys, it's good to see you. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
Hey. All right, so Ron, I'll start with you. The theme, we just mentioned this, Generations of Pride. What do you think that means?
Well, you know what? It's just so much, not just the Italian Americans, but all cultures have their generations, their history. And that's what we celebrate today is our histories, our legacies, our traditions, just like Columbus Day has been for us for 131 years.
Hey, Ron, where are you right now? That's a nice looking background you got there.
Thank you very much. I'm at the Shrine of Our Lady of Pompeii. It's where our day begins. We have a very beautiful Mass. After the Mass, we have a wreath-laying ceremony celebrating Italian-American war veterans and actually veterans of all cultures and all wars at Arrigo Park across the street, and then on our way to the parade.
That's beautiful. And you hear the pipers out there, too, with you this morning.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, your grandparents are being remembered this year, the founders of Caputo's Fresh Markets, which is really cool. How do you feel about it?
It's very exciting. We're very proud. They've been part of the Italian grocery business for over 64 years now.
Yeah. And is there anything special to you about this day, knowing that?
Just how special it would be to them. Angelo served in the U.S. Army. His pride and joy was his family, and he was so proud to be a serviceman and honor his country. And his famous words were, "God bless America," all the time.
And I'm just looking at this picture of the two of them on the screen now. How did the store that we know today, the Fresh Market, the kosher market, how did it come about?
It started from back in his days in Italy, Mola de Bari, Italy. They were in the farming business, and when he came over, he saw that opportunity to take care of the Italian community as they were all immigrating here into the United States, and wanted to make sure everybody felt at home when they were here, and brought the products to make them feel at home, and fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and all the Italian specialties, and make them shop exactly the way they would do in their old neighborhood, because they used to, in the old country, they'd go get what they needed for the day and then go back the next day, and that's exactly how it started.
And what it's still doing to this day. And Rosella, before we let you go, when it comes to this day, Columbus Day, and the Italian-American community, what do you think it means?
You know, our foundation is Italian. My grandparents came here They left their home to come here to live out the American dream, but they never forgot their heritage. We grew up going to the Columbus Day. It was always a big event, and my grandfather would always tell us stories, and he was so excited to be on the floats. So it's a big day for the Italian American community and for our family to honor our grandparents today.
A lot of history and a day that means so much to so many. Guys, really appreciate it. Robertino, Rosella, Ron, all of you guys. Thank you so much for your time this morning. It's good seeing you.
Happy Columbus Day to all.
Happy Columbus Day. All right, guys, have a good one. I'll see you later. So there it is. The 70th annual Columbus Day Parade kicks off at the corner of State and Wacker in the Loop this afternoon. You can watch it right here on ABC7 live. Starts this afternoon at 1 p.m. We'll take a quick break. We're back after this.
There he is, international pop superstar Harry Styles, taking the stage at the UC again tonight for the third show of his Chicago tour. This is actually video from Saturday night's show, where he impressed the crowd with random Chicago trivia. He's going to be performing another 4 concerts throughout the week. And of course, you remember one of them had to be postponed. After all that, you know, all those folks were camped out to get a pit spot.
Yeah.
They were so disappointed, but at least the concert went off without a hitch yesterday.
I sometimes wonder how that goes. Like, 'cause if you're trying to get the pit for that show that night, and that show's canceled,
you got to start all over again.
Ooh.
You have to, I asked that question. You have to start all over again.
So some people who went out to the movies had something to smile about this weekend.
This is my crocodile.
Oh,
Ow!
Okay.
So that's Paramount's horror flick Smile. Easily topped the box office chart for the second straight weekend, pulled in $17.6 million for a 10-day domestic total of nearly $50 million. Yeah. Lyle Lyle Crocodile, loosely based on the classic children's book, opened in the second place, biting off $11.5 million in Amsterdam.
I saw it.
Oh, how can I ask you how?
I liked it.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I liked it.
Cool. Third place, debuted with $6.5 million.
All-star cast.
Yeah.
Really fun cast.
Which sometimes when that happens, it's not good.
Yeah,
right?
It was good. It was very good.
Yeah.
One of the Smithsonian museums in Washington, D.C. is getting ready to show off its new makeover.
Yeah, the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum, along with the National Mall, is expected to reopen its famous doors to the public this week. The museum has been in a 7-year renovation and now features hundreds of new artifacts, 23 redesigned exhibits, and 8 new renovated galleries.
The museum is slated to open Friday, but it will be a partial reopening. The entire renovation project should be complete by 2025.
Eyewitness News, streaming at 7, continues after a break.
I mean, so you know, for years, and I mean years, like stores started opening earlier and earlier for Black Friday sales.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing the opposite. REI has actually been closed on Black Friday for the last 7 years and is now making the decision permanent. The company says it will instead pay its workers to spend time outside doing anything aside from shopping that day.
Wow.
Shoppers can still place orders on the website, but it won't be processed or shipped until the following day.
And holiday sales are starting earlier than ever. Amazon, Target, and Walmart have all announced sales events for next week. So I think the question that, and I hear it come up year after year, but definitely this year, I mean, is Black Friday even a thing anymore?
It's a solid question.
Yeah.
You know, during the pandemic, obviously, we saw some significant changes, right? A lot of stores weren't opening or opening for a very small amount of people, you know, so obviously we've seen a lot of changes. But then became this, I think maybe because of the pandemic, became this overwhelming desire to do everything from home.
Right.
Even shopping on Black Friday for holidays.
Yeah.
And the sales are online. So I guess it depends on you. Are you the type of person that needs to touch, feel, try on, do that kind of stuff?
And I'm that kind of guy.
You are.
Yeah, right. Or are you the kind of person that
That
can just
order online and be fine?
I like to go in and actually touch and feel and try on and see what I'm buying. Problem is, there's nothing in the doggone store
There's nothing
anymore.
in the store, so that's another thing. There's nothing in the stores, and I have to say this. So for my sister, it's an actual tradition. So she and her daughter will do Thanksgiving, blah, 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 finish up, and then that night go shopping.
Right.
It's an actual tradition that they've done together for years. So I suppose it depends on what you've done,
who you are and
right?
what you want to do. Yeah. It is a good question and a good debate, though. And another good debate. Pumpkin spice latte. Do you love it? Do you hate it? It really doesn't matter because whether it's a pumpkin drink, a pumpkin scented candle, Americans are spending a whole lot more money on it. Almost $500 million on pumpkin spice products every year. That's according to the data firm Nielsen. Starbucks alone reportedly sold 20 million in pumpkin spice lattes, and that's a year. Experts say there's no actual reason behind the popularity, but say pumpkins have been a staple of fall American tradition.
But isn't that the reason then? That's what it is.
So.
It's a tradition. And I started it yesterday. So so a pot, cinnamon sticks, and then let it boil, and then turn it off.
Yeah.
The whole house smells like cinnamon.
Oh my gosh,
And it's like that
get
pumpkin
outta
cinnamon,
here.
you know,
Fall
Yeah,
feel,
I am here for it.
I hadn't thought about doing that. And that's super easy.
Super easy.
Great air freshener.
Yep. And you don't have to worry about lighting a candle. I mean, you have to turn off the stove, obviously, but
right.
you don't have to worry about lighting a candle or whatever.
Right,
like
that's awesome. I like
a
that.
500 calorie, Starbucks drink. You know what I mean? Like.
Very fall feeling. And boy, how apropos. It's perfect. Yeah, I'm going to hit that up. That's going to do it for us on this Monday, this holiday. Appreciate you watching the news at 7.
Yeah, I'll have updates coming up on TV. Tracy's going to talk about the forecast. Jeremy's going to have traffic. That's all coming up during Good Morning America.
All right, we'll see you soon. Tomorrow morning, everybody. Have a great day.
This has been Eyewitness News, streaming at 7. Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It's 7:56. I'm Diane Patthew. A Hammond, Indiana man is now charged with a disturbing case of animal abuse in Lincoln Park. Police say 28-year-old Jose Orlando Cartagena was arrested yesterday after he was identified as the suspect. Surveillance video from September 22nd shows a man getting out of a van, opening a trunk, and pulling that puppy out. We've frozen the video because it's too disturbing to show in its entirety. It shows the man throwing the dog and punching it in the face. Cartagena is charged with cruelty to animals. Now let's just check traffic with Jeremy Scott.
Well, Diane, we've got a crash in Wheaton. This is at the intersection of Butterfield and Naperville roads. As you are traveling elsewhere, though, we're actually not looking too bad on the expressways and the tollways. Lighter than normal volume because of the holiday. And as you are traveling on to South Lakeshore Drive, you're not seeing that typical delay around the Oak Street curve. Well, see, it's beautiful outside, and Tracy will back that up here with her forecast in just a little bit.
Good morning. It is a lovely day for a parade, and just so happens we have one here in the city today. Skies are clear right now. Some of our temperatures are a little on the colder side of things. We have 42 in LaSalle, 43 right now in Morris, 49 at O'Hare, and 46 degrees in Gary. Those temperatures this afternoon will get close to 70 degrees. Little cooler areas along the lake, however. Tomorrow, rain chances do increase throughout the evening hours.